It's been a really hard 10 days. Let's make this a 3-minute Thursday. Let's go. Okay, so here's what's been going on. I came back from New York about 10 days ago, maybe a little bit more. And when I came back, I was working on the van and went to go turn on the vent fan, and this happened. So I started troubleshooting it and switched out the power supply to make sure it wasn't a power problem. It did the same thing. I reran 12-volt lines to it from the circuit box, and did the same thing. I replaced the fuse with a higher rated fuse, did the same thing. Oh, took a multimeter to the power outputs on both power supplies that I tried, and it was fine, right at 12 volts. And finally reached out to Maxair, and they said, yeah, your circuit board is fried. Fortunately, it's still under warranty, so they're sending me a new PC board for it, which I will have in 4 to 6 weeks. The problem is, I leave for the coast in 5 weeks, so let's see if it gets here in time. In the meantime, the guy at Maxair mentioned that that running them from goal zeros sometimes create power spikes. And so the new circuit board that he's sending me will be able to handle those power spikes better. I think I'm also going to add a 12-volt power regulator in line with that, which is only like $25 or something, but as an additional safety measure. So we're going to wait and hope that the new circuit board gets here in time. If it doesn't, at about 4 weeks, I'm going to start scrambling to try and figure something else out. But that wasn't the end of my problems. I was working on the van, trying to figure out what was going on there, and I heard a loud crack and then a thud. And so I went into my backyard to figure out what was going on, and huge tree limb fell on my shed. Too big for me to move by myself, so I called a friend who runs a tree service. Then I realized the hot water heater for my house was broken. I happen to have another friend who's a plumber, so I called him. Then, while I was dealing with the hot water issues, the check engine light came on my Toyota, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna forget all of this stuff for a little while. I'm gonna mow the lawn. It'll be nice, it'll be zen. Went to go pull start the lawnmower. No, wait. And the pull starter came off in my hand. It's been a really rough week. But regardless of that week, I did manage to get some work done on the van, which I'm super excited about. The one I am most excited about is this table, which I decided to round the edges and then add more polyurethane to it, and it came out really nicely. I had never actually used a router before. A friend of mine loaned me one, and it was awesome, super cool. So that came out really nicely. I also got dividers built in this drawer. This one's a little crooked, but that's holding the stove. Here's my sink, extra pots and pans. This holds some silver mixing bowls that nest really nicely in here, and then in here will be cast iron frying pans. So I'm super happy with that. I also got this built, which I'm pretty happy with. From the other side, you can see what it's actually doing. So it's just 2 simple shelves for clothes. My wife and I were saying that when we were in the van, most of our clothes are beneath the bed with access from the back. It'd be nice to have a place where you can throw a change of clothes, or at night when you take your clothes off, just have a place to put stuff. And so that was where our stuffed bear Jaime used to live. I built these shelves to take that space, nice big lip. Super happy with that. That'll work well. This was actually the biggest news. This was the biggest thing that I did, was I added doors to both of these cabinets. And I'm really happy with the way that it came out. And I need to tweak the positioning on this one a little bit. It's still rubbing a little bit. Little magnets in place to hold it. I am super happy with this. In the past, we just had open space with some bungee because we didn't have time to get these done before hitting the road last May. But I'm super happy with how those came out. Really excited. Really excited. So that's super cool too. So in general, I'm happy with what I've got done. I've got one more big project to do. It's a big one. I need to learn how to use a new tool. So I picked up one of these. Which I have not used before. A lot of van lifers use these, and I need to use it to solve my door problem. A good buddy of mine, a guy named Andy, suggested in another video ages ago, I put up that I couldn't sort of figure out how to work the insides of the doors. Those panels use a single-use connector, and I don't like single-use anything. All right, every once in a while I use single-use something. I try really hard to not use single-use anything, but I need to insulate and cover the doors. And to do that, I need to learn how to use this thing. So that's my challenge for today. And there's one other thing that I have to do today. So when I built the van for the May departure, which if you weren't around then, you should check it out. I didn't shoot a lot of video of building this van because I was in such a hurry to get it built. Because I bought the van in February, the middle of February. I think I started building on March 9th. And then we had to leave on May 6th for Colorado to go to my son's wedding. And so I had a very tight timeline to build this. And of course I was working. So I had a very tight timeline, and COVID was raging, and so my real concern was that I wouldn't be able to get things. And something that I was not able to get was this connector, which connects my Goal Zero unit to the circuit panel, to the fuse box. And I couldn't get one. There were none available, so I had to make one. I bought a different one that had the right connector here and 2 leads and just made a connection. But in the process of going through the vent fan, I was like, I hope that's not part of the problem. So let's order one of these since they're available. I'll have the other one as a backup. So that needs to go into place. That'll just take a few minutes. That's where we are. Doors still need to get done, and the van needs to get clean because it is an absolute mess. So that's where we are. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching 3 Minute Thursday. See you next week. Linguine and white clam, garlic bread, white wine.